Yes.
Would those random audits occur that evening of the vote?
Yeah, there's about 20 states or so that do this, and some try to do it that evening, some do it the next day, some lock down the ballots and have them delivered to an external entity like a university where the audits will take place. So I want to look at all the different options and engage a few other experts in determining those types of things to see what's best. But the great thing is that, and it's something through writing this book, I've developed relationships where I could call the Connecticut Secretary of State and say, Secretary Bizowitz, you have the model audit law in our country. What do you do? What's your, because I'm sure they all have dealt with these questions, so I want to engage their advice and everyone's advice, and also have an open hearing process to collect information before making those decisions on those details. There was a question to that.
Yes. Do we have a national identity card?
I think that would be a problem for a lot of different reasons, I mean, the way I approach this is our country's been at its best when it's been inclusive and when it's been respectful of diversity and embracing diversity. And I think my fear of those types of things is that they would promote exclusivity. They would make things. They would promote. They would limit access to various different pieces of what our government provides. So I personally would not support it, but I again would operate all of my decision making in a collaborative way where I want to invite everyone into the process and make sure that when we do make a decision on something like that, which is highly controversial, that it's very clear that we've listened to all the arguments and we're still making this decision and why.
Follow-up question then. Without a national identity card, how do we address jobs that should be going to Americans going to non-Americans?
Well, I mean, with regards to citizenship and knowing people's citizenship, we have passports, we have ways of tracking people's citizenship and those. So I guess from my response to your question is simply that we already have a way of identifying people's nationality and tracking who is a citizen and who is not. Well, to the extent, we'll first have to specifically talk about what doesn't work. So are we talking about people who are non-citizens registering to vote?
No, not at all. I'm talking more about the problem of illegals being hired for work that should be going to Americans, or people who are here legally.
Yeah, I mean, with the issue with undocumented workers, again, I do want to emphasize that I believe our country is at its best when it's inclusive, yes, first and foremost. Secondly, though, with regards to ensuring that our companies are hiring people who are citizens and following the law to the extent that there are protections around that, I think the government needs to be proactive, and we need to build collaborative relationships with the companies and the organizations that are hiring us. This is outside the realm, obviously, of the Secretary of State's office, but I don't think a national ID card is really the solution to the problem that you're talking about. I think the solution is simply more engagement, more ensuring that, and proactively ensuring that the people who are, whether we're talking about people registering to vote or applying for jobs, have the appropriate documentation. But the other piece of that is that there are a lot of people who are citizens or who are new citizens who don't have access to that documentation. Now, from that standpoint, I would work with our clerks in Michigan to make sure that no one is blocked from retrieving that information and being able to show that they are a citizen or that they do have documentation, because I think accuracy is important. There was another question over here.
Ms. Benson, I'm not asking a question. I just want to make a recommendation. I think you'd be an excellent candidate for Secretary of State. I want to tell the friends here in Livingston County, Ryan, would you stand up? This is your husband, Ryan Fredericks, who I've known for a long time, and I re-met him in 2000 in New Hampshire during the presidential primary. He was working with Rockvote, getting the students on the University of New Hampshire campus same-day voter registration in New Hampshire. And we went through the bloodbath at Massacre Creek, because all these students got registered, and then they went in to vote, and the clerk, who was a Republican, and all the officials said, "Oh, if you register here, you're going to lose your scholarship. You're from another state." We had about 900 or 1,000 students were prevented. They registered that day, but couldn't vote, and they were just crying and all sorts of stuff. But you've got a great spouse, so not only are you a great official and to be, but you'd have a great person who has a lot of other knowledge that would help us have a great Secretary of State.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Yes, my husband he always, as I'm sort of the lawyer, I'm the professor, I'm the educator, I work on that piece, but he's the organizer in the family. He's the one who's actually out there doing the work, mobilizing voters. He runs a progressive coalition of nonprofit organizations throughout the country that together collectively share resources to ensure that the nonprofit community is able to maximize their ability to ensure voter participation and registration and all of those things. So Ryan's been, back in 2000, was before we even met, was very involved in those things, and so I'm very, very fortunate to have him as part of our team and part of our effort. So you get 2 for 1 if you vote for Benson. Both of us will be in there fighting for voters. So thank you all. I do want to thank you.